Hello guys, welcome back to my channel nga pala, no? So if you're just new here, so please don't forget to subscribe, paki-like and share na din po. So pinag-iingat ngayon, no, mga job seekers, may mga nababasa po tayong mga job opportunities sa Facebook na pinopost na nangangailangan sila ng mga workers. Ingat-ingat po kasi baka kayo mapunta sa alanganin, no? Kasi alam naman natin yung mga napabalita na kahit noon pa, so sa mga scamming jobs, no? So may nabasa kasi akong bago sa Facebook na they are hiring ng mga workers, no? So ang qualifications nila is kailangan marunong ka mag-English, any nationality ang tinatanggap nila, no? So careful po, baka po kayo ay lagay sa maalanganin na buhay, no? So kasi nga ito po ay scamming, no? Alam naman natin na laganap even sa Pilipinas ang mga pogo, di ba? So buti na lang at na solve na tong problem sa Pilipinas, no? At the stop na, but there are still some na they continue to do it, pero at least minimal na. Pero sa ibang bansa, they keep on, hiring people, keep on, they still keep on going, no, ang mga trabahong ganito. Baka nangangarap ka magtrabaho abroad kasi iniisip mo malaki ang sahod, pero ingat-ingat po sa pagtanggap ng mga ganitong mga trabaho kasi nga laganap pa rin ang scamming sa ibang bansa, most especially in Southeast Asia. So bakit nga pala laganap ito sa Southeast Asia? Kasi nga nabibigyan ng pera yung yung authorities, no? So kaya nga pinag-iingat, no? So ang lahat most especially sa mga Filipinos na nag-a-apply abroad. So let's watch this one. So kung ano man ang scamming industry sa Southeast Asia. So let's watch this one.
We're heading a little bit south of Mesot into an area that we know as Taichung. It's commonly known also as Mountain View. For us, it's one of the worst compounds that exists in terms of human rights violations, abuses, absolute torture of their victims.
Judatana is on a mission. He's in Thailand. Over the river is Myanmar, where thousands of people are working in prison-like compounds known as scam centres. Their job? To defraud people online. But they're not all criminals. Some are trafficked, tortured, thrust into cyber slavery.
What we often hear about is this black room or this dark room, and it's essentially, let's say, a windowless dark room where the victims are taken in. They're often chained with their hands handcuffed above their heads hanging from a ceiling. They are then not given food, they're tasered, they're unable to sleep.
How do you go about getting people out?
The reality is the majority of them have to pay exorbitant ransoms. Their families sell everything.
Judah's the first hope for those fleeing. Recently, he's been getting a lot of frantic calls. Many trace back to a little-known compound called Taichung. You can see it just across the border.
I think it's a good idea if we just walk. I want you to actually see and experience the gravity of what it is that we're talking about, because this compound has been built within the last 18 months. And you're talking about, as far as you can see this way, all the way to the green roof building there. And you can see land being cleared behind it, which only means expansion.
Two things I'm really struck by is just how vast it is, but also it's there in plain sight, so close to this Thai border.
Yeah, you can almost reach out and touch it, right? And yet it's untouchable. You can't get in and nobody can get out.
Is this, in fact, the place the world should be watching.
Absolutely. This compound is, without a doubt, the worst. It is essentially hell on earth.
The scam compounds are often run by Chinese mafia, supported by militias in Myanmar. Those who don't generate enough money for their bosses can be brutally punished. The UN estimates hundreds of thousands of people are working inside these fraud factories across Southeast Asia.
The types of scams that are being run inside the scam centres are often focused on dating and relationships. They use many platforms, but behind most of them, it's gaining some kind of trust with somebody in another country by pretending to be someone you're not. And by gaining that trust, encourage them to join some kind of investment or cryptocurrency investment, and to build on that investment and to build on that trust until eventually have exploited them from all of their money.
The notorious KK Park is one of many compounds that was able to grow and prosper along a lawless border in a country wrestling with civil war.
Kita nyo yung yung area, parang nasa yung mga buildings nasa gitna ng tubig, so it's very hard for the yung mga nasa doon na lumabas. Nahihirapan sila, di ba?
These three men have just left.
3 guys is just leave KK4, so I take them leave and send to immigration. But
Sammy is a volunteer trying to stop human trafficking.
2 years ago, if you want to leave KK compound, you have to pay about 30,000 to 50,000 US dollar to leave.
How much did it cost them?
你们后来你付了多少钱 ？2,500 US dollar, not really high.
So,
But
yan
to
ang
really
border.
understand the current dynamics, you have to cross from Thailand into Myanmar, where conflict rages and cyber scams thrive. We've been granted rare access to Yatai New City in Shui Koko, a sprawling frontier of compounds and casinos. But the city management wants to show us this is a normal town with nothing to hide.
This feels like a little China. Everywhere you look, there are signs in Mandarin. A lot of the people on the streets and in the shops are Chinese too. It's almost like a vast outpost, and yet it's one we know that Beijing in part is wrestling with.
Along its border with Myanmar in the north, China has cracked down on the scamming industry, but it's money from the Chinese underworld that still drives it. Yatai says that's not what's going on here. Suspicion, though, is high. Phones are checked, and we're escorted everywhere. Yatai's chairman wants to talk.
我们只是一个城市开发者，我们只是一个城市运营商。如果有哪怕就是说有任何的这个诈骗啊，或者怎么样，那些东西我们没办法去做这个任何的这个裁决，或者是抓捕啊，或者等等这些东西，因为我们只是一个房地产开发商而已。当地有当地的这个司法机构，有当地的这个执法机构。
You say you're just the property developer, but you do profit from these compounds. Do you think that it's your responsibility to crack down more forcefully?
那如果进来那么多这个投资商，那投资商具体他做什么这些东西的话，我们是不得而知的。说实话，我们也是没有权利知道那些东西的。
Do you accept that scamming has gone on in Yatai City, in compounds, and that some people have been trafficked here?
就是关于这个诈骗啊，还有这个贩卖人口这个事情，其实我们早在2020年还没到的时候，我们就做了一些这个防范措施，就是包括像我们城里的这些宣传标语，我们是坚决抵制、打击 这个贩卖人口等等这些行为的，包括诈骗行为。2022年，从我们最早到现在为止，我们亚太城这个地方没有出现过任何一起的这个被贩卖人口的这种事情。
There's been so much pressure on making sure that the human trafficking side has been snuffed out and that there's no longer the sense of abuses or hiring underage children. The role in which Yatai and Shwe Koko has played seems to be benefiting the anti-human trafficking movement.
There is a public effort to combat forced labour here, but Yatai's founder, Sergi Zhang, was only recently sanctioned by the UK government, accused of links to scam centres and human trafficking. One rescuer also told us this building is currently home to a significant scam operation. The bar's there to prevent people from jumping.
They clearly want to show the world that they're more open now, that working can.
Di ba para lang sa parang sa Pilipinas lang. Buti sa Pilipinas na na nila na solve na 'yon. Pero dito parang ang hirap, mahirap talaga.
Conditions here are better. The problem is we can't get into the compounds to see what the reality of life is like inside.
We know that fraud factories exist across the region, but we need to work harder to get a close-up look. So we've been tracking one key area in Cambodia, near the border with Vietnam. It's called Bavet, and it's home to some shocking stories. Scammers rarely talk on camera, but this man, who we're calling Poom Jai, has agreed to lift the lid on a murky world. He's Thai, but until recently, he was a romance scammer in Bavet, targeting lonely people to invest, stealing their hearts and then their money.
พอให้เราเสร็จเขาก็สอนวิธีการว่าการแนะนำตัวลูกค้ายังไงคือว่ามันจะมีลูกค้านี่จะจีบลูกค้าก็มีประมาณ3วันครบ3วันครบก็ประมาณถ้าครบประมาณอาทิตย์หนึ่งก็เชื่อแต่ลูกค้าแต่ละคนนี่คือแบบว่าเป็นไบโพล่าเกือบทุกคนแล้วก็มีเงินทุกคนคือจากนั้นก็ลูกค้าคนนั้นนะก็ไม่ได้ใส่ใจอะไรเพราะว่ารักตัวละครรักแบบว่ารักเราอะไรประมาณนี้
In Cambodia, illegal gambling, love scams and crypto fraud are booming. It can be lucrative. But with rampant growth comes brutal targets. Poom Jai became a scammer by falling victim himself to a romance scam, lured by a Thai recruiter who's now under investigation. He was passed around compounds until one fateful day he was accused of stealing.
เขาก็สอบถามผมว่าเอาเงินบริษัทไปเท่าไหร่นะพอนั่งลงปุ๊บเขาก็เหล็กเตี้ยวมาฟาดผมก่อนพอมาฟาดผมเขาให้ผมอะเขาฟาดปุ๊บเตะปุ๊บต่อยปุ๊บจากนั้นเขาก็พอตีเสร็จปุ๊บถ้าไม่ยอมรับความจริงเขาก็ผมก็บอกว่าผมไม่ได้ทำแล้วเขาก็ไปเอากระบองไฟฟ้ามากระบองไฟฟ้ามาปุ๊บแล้วก็จะยอมรับไหมเขาก็เปิดไฟฟ้าช็อตเปิดไฟฟ้ามาจี้เรา
We want to find the compound Poom Jai nearly died in, but it won't be easy. They're highly secure places, hard to get in, even harder to get out. Here, around 40 Vietnamese people flee the Golden Phoenix Casino, hoping they can swim back to Vietnam. Ben, who's from the UK, says he also worked there.
Until I was in there, I had no idea. I've been in Cambodia a long time now. Up until the point where I was in the compound, I never heard of a compound before. I never heard of a scam factory. It was like a whole different world just appeared in front of me. I had an altercation with another staff member, and then I got punished. So called into the office, handcuffed to a chair, and security team was called in, and I was electrocuted with tasers for maybe 5 minutes.
We decide the only way we'll expose what's really happening in these heavily guarded compounds is by pretending we want to work in them.
We're on our way to a building where we know 2 years ago nearly 250 people were rescued. We've been told that a scam operation is still going on there, so we're going to go and see what we can find out.
We walk in posing as people looking for jobs.
Online what? Online.
There's a heavy security presence. A steady stream of workers pass through a metal detector.
Will we be okay? The police won't stop. No problem.
Rescuers have told us about scammers fleeing here. But we can't get any further without an appointment. Scam centres are almost impenetrable, constantly changing names and locations. But we want to keep going. We've heard Bavet is the new hub. It's on the border with Vietnam, a fortress-like city we're going to try to infiltrate.
It feels kind of otherworldly being here. Everywhere we look, there are gambling adverts and these huge casinos. And then behind them, these mysterious buildings, and seemingly very little else.
Down a dusty road, we find the building where Poom Jai says he worked, was detained, and fled.
ขังประมาณตี 3 ตี 4ผมก็เริ่มวางแผนละเริ่มวางแผนว่าหนีว่าเนี่ยมีคนมาหรือเปล่ามันจะช่วงประมาณตี 4 ตี 5นี้ผมเขาไปสอดแนมว่าบอสคนจีนเขาน่าจะลงไปนอนแล้วช่องหนึ่งเป็นหน้าต่างตรงข้ามอีกตึกแล้วผมก็งัดเหล็กออกมาผมขอภาวนาว่าผมต้องรอดพอจากนั้นผมก็หลับตาแล้วก็โดดมาอีกฝั่งสติเริ่มไม่อยู่แล้วเริ่มขาก็เริ่มปวดเริ่มเจ็บขึ้นมาแล้วผมอยู่ขามันก็พลิกแล้วหน้าลงพื้นแล้วผมจะคานไปคานหนีไม่ได้เพราะผมฝืนสุดๆก็หมดสติ
Doctors eventually helped him escape and return to Thailand. After 2 days, we have a lead.
We've been reaching out to recruiters today, and we've just had a call from one who says they're willing to meet to discuss possible work, so we're going to see what they have to say.
They are surprisingly unguarded and unfiltered. The scam? Pig butchery, tricking victims to fork out more and more money before going in for the kill. It's big business. Some scammers sign up willingly on the promise of big salaries and bonuses.
What kind of work can we do for you?
Maybe model, and the second call center, and the third is skill. And the salary in here, more 800 upward. All the same like ask to people to investment. Like
With the kill, the romance scam, who is the best country to target?
for Bangladesh.
Bangladesh?
Yeah.
You take money from that?
Because they don't like
Nobody gets arrested. Right, no, the police won't stop anybody.
the police
Yeah.
I never see the police come inside because I think like maybe the manager of the casino maybe check the other person first.
And all the casinos were
That's why.
Yeah, so all the checkers.
Mahirap to. Kasi yung authorities
That night,
is,
they arranged for us to do a
sad.
job interview. We're met at a casino and driven to a compound. We're then asked to sit down with the man they call the boss, the head of HR, and 2 other employees. They admit what they do is illegal from the off.
Firstly, you would have to know what job we are doing here.
Yeah. Can you explain it?
Any job. It's a fraud industry.
Yeah.
What now we are doing the US market.
Oh, US.
Buti at nag-ano sila.
More rich people there, and
It's a frauding
if
industry,
you get the
sabi
big client, you get more commission.
Oh.
Yeah.
And how many days a week?
All day.
7 days a
7
week.
days,
Okay.
24/7. No.
How much does the person that earns the most get?
The most of the problem.
Do you teach, do you train here or no training?
Yeah, have training here. This is your master if you come
Oh,
to work.
okay.
This is the master. He is the guy with experience to kill the client for like billions of money.
What kind of script do you follow? What?
How to win the man's heart, how to get in the first day, in the second day, in the third day, all he can teach you. He will teach you. Yeah. Like, why would you tell the guy, the guy says he will work, and then you ask him, what problem? Why you will work with the girl? If the man can tell you the inner word, the thinking, that is, they will. You already grow in this guy's heart.
After a lengthy chat, the team agrees to show us the accommodation. Next, we're exposed to something we thought we'd never see: the highly secretive scam rooms. We see scammers with lots of phones conducting multiple conversations with victims online. It's hard to know if other workers got a guided tour, but it revealed more than we ever expected.
It's very strange seeing that world up close. I was surprised at just how organized and structured it felt. You had these rows and rows of people, all focused on ultimately defrauding people around the world.
Across the border in Thailand, the cost of the industry is crushing. Cheer says his brother, Chow, died falling from this compound in Cambodia. He believes he was pushed.
ผมคิดว่าพี่ผมเนี่ยโดนฆ่า 100% ยังไงก็โดนฆ่าครับครั้งเนี้ยเคสเนี้ยผมอยากให้เป็นเคสตัวอย่างอยากให้เป็นเคสระดับประเทศเพื่อเตือนพี่น้องชาวไทยหรือเป็นพี่น้องชาวต่างชาติที่เขาคิดจะไปทำงานอยู่ปอยเปตเพราะตรงนั้นน่ะอย่าไปเลยครับทีนี้พี่ชายผมก็เลยทางมาบอกว่าเชียร์ถ้าพี่ไม่ได้กลับแสดงว่าพี่ไม่มีชีวิตอยู่แล้วนะฝากดูแลแม่แทนพี่ด้วยพี่รักมึงมาก
Parang pinupush. Sad, no?
There is a vast range of scam centres and scammers. Some greed-driven, some desperate, some deeply sinister.
So ayan nga po guys, no? So ingat po tayo sa paghahanap ng trabaho. And wag basta-basta po maniwala sa mga job offers, no, na napopost sa Facebook. Baka po tayo ay malagay sa alanganin, no? So hindi ka basta-basta makakalabas nito kasi nga kung makakalabas ka man, so may mga pinababayad sila sa'yo and thousands of dollars ang pinababayad sa'yo, no? So always ingat po tayo. Huwag basta-basta tumatanggap ng trabaho abroad kung di mo talaga alam kung ano ang pinapasukan mo. So make it sure na lahat-lahat ay okay. Alright? So guys, thank you so much nga pala for watching. I hope that I will see you again in my next vlogs. And please, aware po tayo sa lahat ng mga scammers kasi nagtipa sila in all areas po. Okay? So, I hope na walang mabibiktima sa mga ganitong mga scams. So, thank you so much again and please don't forget to subscribe, like and share. And see you guys in my next